My name is Tara Emmanuel, and I stood alone on that graduation stage, clutching my military diploma while scanning an auditorium full of celebrating families. But my section? Completely empty. 8 reserved seats that should have been filled with my husband, my 3 children, my parents, and my sister. Instead, I stared at empty chairs while other graduates hugged their loved ones. After 6 grueling years of military service, including 2 deployments overseas, this moment should have been my victory. I had earned my degree while serving my country, missing birthdays and holidays to protect the freedom they enjoyed every day. But apparently, a weekend camping trip was more important than celebrating their wife, mother, and daughter who had sacrificed everything for both her family and her nation. If you've ever felt invisible to the people who should love you most, let me know in the comments below. If you like our revenge stories, please subscribe for more. We drop powerful news stories every week, filled with truth, emotion, and justice. Don't miss the next one. And remember, some stories hurt, but they heal too. Subscribe now, and join the journey. I married my husband Alex when I was 22, fresh out of basic training. He seemed proud of my service then, always bragging to his friends about his Army wife. We had 3 beautiful children. Tyler, age 12, Madison, age 10, and little Jake, who just turned 7. For 6 years, I balanced military duties with family life. While other mothers attended every soccer game and school play, I was often deployed or training. I miss first steps, first words, and countless bedtime stories. But I did it all for them, for our future, for the benefits and education the military would provide. Alex promised he would hold down the fort while I served. "Go save the world, babe," he used to say. "We'll be here when you get back." Those words felt like lies now as I stood in that empty auditorium. My military career demanded everything. I spent 18 months in Afghanistan, protecting convoys and training local forces. I missed Tyler's 11th birthday, Madison's dance recital, and Jake's first day of kindergarten. Each missed moment felt like a knife to my heart, but I told myself it was temporary. While deployed, I studied for my military logistics degree through online courses. After 12-hour shifts in 120-degree heat, I would sit in my tent with textbooks, determined to earn something that would make my family proud. I wanted them to see that their sacrifices meant something too. Alex would video call with the kids, but those conversations grew shorter each month. "Daddy's busy with work" became the standard excuse for missed calls. Meanwhile, my brother Cameron was home every night for dinner with his family, attending every family gathering I couldn't make. If you like our revenge stories, please subscribe for more. We drop powerful news stories every week, filled with truth, emotion, and justice. Don't miss the next one. And remember, some stories hurt, but they heal too. Subscribe now and join the journey. Cameron never served a day in his life, but somehow he was the family hero. He worked as a car salesman, lived in a nice house, and never missed a family barbecue. While I was dodging bullets overseas, he was coaching Little League and winning Brother of the Year awards from our parents. Every phone call home included updates about Cameron's latest achievements. "Your brother just bought a boat," Mom would gush. "Cameron took us fishing last weekend." Meanwhile, my military commendations sat unmentioned in a drawer somewhere. When I came home from deployment, exhausted and changed by what I had seen, the first conversation at dinner was about Cameron's promotion at the dealership. Not about my service, not about the friends I had lost, not about the nightmares that woke me up screaming. Just Cameron's latest sales numbers and his new commission structure. Alex grew distant during my second deployment. Our video calls became arguments about bills, household chores, and parenting decisions I couldn't help with from thousands of miles away. "It's like being a single parent," he complained constantly. "You're never here when we need you." I tried explaining that my service provided our health insurance, steady income, and college benefits for the kids. But he only saw the absences, not the sacrifices. When I returned from deployment, I felt like a stranger in my own home. The kids had new routines I wasn't part of. Tyler barely looked up from his video games when I walked in. Madison hugged me politely, like greeting a distant relative. Only Jake seemed genuinely excited to see me, but even he preferred Daddy's bedtime stories to mine. Our marriage counselor suggested we reconnect through shared goals. Focus on future milestones you can celebrate together, she advised. My military graduation ceremony became that shared goal. After 6 years of service and 3 years of part-time study, I was finally earning my bachelor's degree in military logistics. The ceremony was scheduled for May 15th at the base auditorium. This is it, I told Alex excitedly. 6 years of sacrifice leading to this moment. I want everyone there. You, the kids, mom, dad, my sister Kelly. This represents everything I've worked for. Alex nodded enthusiastically. Absolutely, babe. We wouldn't miss it for the world. The kids will be so proud to see their mom graduate. You deserve this celebration. For the first time in months, I felt hope for our family. Maybe this achievement would remind them why my service mattered. Maybe seeing me in that cap and gown would help them understand that all the missed dinners and deployments had purpose. I started planning the celebration 6 months in advance. I reserved 8 seats in the auditorium's family section and sent formal invitations to everyone. The ceremony started at 2 p.m., followed by a reception with cake and photos. I booked dinner reservations at Romano's, the fancy Italian restaurant where Alex and I had our first anniversary. I called my parents in Oklahoma to save the date. We'll try our best to make it, sweetheart, Mom said in that non-committal tone I knew too well. But I stayed optimistic. This was my military graduation. Surely they would prioritize it. My sister Kelly in Denver seemed genuinely excited. I'm so proud of you, Tara, she said. Serving your country and getting your degree? You're my hero. I'll book my flight next week. Even Alex seemed engaged, asking about the ceremony details and suggesting we invite his parents too. This is huge, babe, he said, kissing my forehead. 6 years of military service and a college degree. We need to celebrate properly. 2 months before graduation, I bought my first new dress in 3 years. Military life didn't leave much room for fashion, but this was special. I chose a navy blue dress that would look elegant under my graduation gown, and beautiful for dinner afterward. When I tried it on for the kids, Madison actually smiled. You look pretty, Mommy. Like the moms in movies. Her compliment brought tears to my eyes. I couldn't remember the last time I had dressed up for anything except military functions. Tyler even looked up from his phone long enough to say, "Cool, Mom." From a 12-year-old boy, that was practically a standing ovation. I scheduled appointments for hair and makeup on graduation morning. These were luxuries I rarely allowed myself, always putting military duties and family expenses first. But this day would be different. This day was about celebrating everything I had accomplished while serving my country and raising my family. 3 weeks before graduation, Cameron called with news that made my stomach drop. Hey sis, I'm planning this epic camping trip for May 15th weekend. The whole family's invited, kids, parents, everyone. We're going to Lake Tahoe for 3 days. The kids will love it. My heart stopped. Cameron, that's my graduation weekend. I told everyone months ago. There was a pause. Oh right, your military thing. Can't you reschedule it? You can't reschedule a graduation ceremony, I said, trying to stay calm. This is a once-in-a-lifetime event. Can you move your camping trip to another weekend? Not really, he replied casually. I already booked the campsite and invited like 20 people. Plus, the weather's supposed to be perfect that weekend. But hey, your ceremony's just a few hours, right? Maybe everyone can drive up after. The lake was 4 hours away. There was no way anyone could attend both events. I immediately called Mom, hoping she would see reason. Mom, Cameron scheduled a camping trip on my graduation day. You can't choose that over my ceremony. Her response crushed me. Oh honey, what terrible timing. Can't you both reschedule? Mom, I'm graduating from military service with a college degree. This isn't a casual event that can be moved. I've been planning this for 6 months. Well, it's just so difficult, she sighed. Your father loves Cameron's camping trips, and we rarely get to see the grandkids all together. Your Aunt Martha is coming from Texas specifically for this trip. Can't we celebrate your graduation another time? I felt that familiar childhood wound reopening. Once again, Cameron's plans took priority over mine. Once again, my achievements were treated as secondary to his social events. This has been planned for months, Mom. I told you about graduation before Cameron ever mentioned camping. You're being selfish, Tara. Family time is precious. That evening, I told Alex about the camping trip conflict, expecting his complete support. He listened quietly while I explained the situation, occasionally nodding sympathetically. Your family has always played favorites with Cameron, he said. But we'll still be there, me and the kids. That's what really matters, right? His words comforted me initially. As long as my immediate family supported me, I could handle my parents' predictable choice. Alex was right. My husband and children were what truly mattered. Promise me you three will be there, I said, looking into his eyes. No matter what happens, promise me. Of course, babe, Alex replied, pulling me close. We wouldn't miss seeing you graduate for anything in the world. You've earned this moment, and we'll be there cheering louder than anyone. I wanted desperately to believe him, but something in his tone didn't sound as convincing as his words. 2 days later, I overheard Tyler on the phone with his cousin Brady, Cameron's son. Yeah, Uncle Cameron said there's going to be jet skiing and a huge bonfire. Dad said we might be able to go after Mom's boring ceremony thing. My blood ran cold. Alex had been discussing the camping trip with Cameron behind my back. When I confronted him that evening, he became defensive. The kids heard about the trip from their cousins. They're really excited about it. Tyler's been begging to go jet skiing all summer. So you told them they could go to Cameron's trip instead of supporting me at graduation? I didn't say instead of, Alex protested. Maybe we could compromise. I could take the kids camping and meet you for dinner afterward. Or come to graduation alone and pick you up later. I stared at him in disbelief. This isn't a business negotiation, Alex. This is about being there for your wife on one of the most important days of her life. The argument escalated quickly. Alex accused me of being selfish and dramatic. It's just a graduation ceremony, Tara. You already had one for high school. Just a graduation ceremony? I repeated, my voice shaking. This represents 6 years of military service. 6 years of missing birthdays and bedtime stories to serve my country. 6 years of you complaining about being a single parent while I was protecting American freedom. The kids really want to go camping, he said stubbornly. They've been looking forward to it all week. What about looking forward to seeing their mother graduate? What about teaching them to support family achievements? What about showing them that hard work and sacrifice matter? Tyler and Madison came downstairs, drawn by our raised voices. When they realized we were arguing about graduation versus camping, they predictably sided with their father. Graduations are boring, Mom, Tyler said with typical 12-year-old bluntness. Uncle Cameron said there's going to be water sports and Esmores. Madison nodded tearfully. Why can't you just graduate another time? I went to bed that night without eating dinner, too hurt to stomach food. Alex slept on the couch for the first time in our marriage. As I lay awake staring at the ceiling, I wondered how my family had become so disconnected from my life. The irony was devastating. I had served my country to protect their freedom, earned a college degree to provide them a better future, and sacrificed my own needs for years to support our family. Yet when I needed just one afternoon of support in return, they couldn't give it to me. I thought about my fellow service members who had died overseas, who would never have the chance to graduate or celebrate with their families. Here I was, alive and achieving my dreams, but completely alone in my moment of triumph. The graduation dress hanging in the corner looked like a ghost, mocking my naive belief that my family would celebrate this achievement with me. I woke up to an empty house and a note on the kitchen counter. Took the kids to help Cameron pack for camping. Back later tonight. Congratulations, Alex. Not even a proper goodbye. Just a hastily scribbled afterthought. I sat at the kitchen table with my coffee, staring at that note. After 6 years of military service, this was how my family chose to spend my graduation day. They were 4 hours away, setting up tents and unpacking jet skis while I prepared to walk across the stage alone. I forced myself to keep the morning appointments I had scheduled. The hairstylist noticed my subdued mood, but professionally avoided prying. The makeup artist did her best to conceal my swollen eyes and create a look that would photograph well. Back home, I carefully put on my navy dress and adjusted my cap over my newly styled hair. I took a selfie in the mirror, trying to smile, trying to feel proud instead of heartbroken. The graduation ceremony was beautiful. Hundreds of military personnel and their families filled the auditorium with pride and celebration. I sat with my fellow graduates, surrounded by achievement and joy, yet feeling completely isolated. When they called my name, Tara Emmanuel, Bachelor of Science in Military Logistics, graduated with honors. I walked across that stage with my head held high. I shook the dean's hand, accepted my diploma, and moved my tassel from right to left. The applause was polite and brief, the same as for every other graduate. No special cheers, no distinctive calls of my name, no family members jumping to their feet with pride. Just the anonymous recognition of strangers witnessing another stranger's milestone. From the stage, I could see my empty section clearly. 8 reserved seats that would have been filled with the people who mattered most. Instead, they were probably roasting hot dogs over a campfire, laughing and bonding while I achieved the goal I had worked 6 years to reach. After the ceremony, I checked my phone hoping for congratulatory messages. Instead, I found Cameron's social media posts from the camping trip. Photos of my family laughing around a fire pit, Alex teaching Tyler to fish, Madison roasting marshmallows with her cousins. The timestamp showed the photos were posted during my graduation ceremony. While I was walking across that stage alone, they were creating memories without me. The caption read, "Perfect family weekend at the lake. Nothing beats quality time together." 47 likes and comments about what a great father and uncle the men were. Not a single mention of my graduation. Not one acknowledgement that while they were playing I was achieving something significant. I had been completely erased from their day, as if my milestone didn't exist. I sat behind the science building and cried harder than I had since my deployment. 6 years of service, 6 years of sacrifice, and this was how it ended alone behind a building, scrolling through photos of my family having fun without me. As I sat in my car deciding whether to cancel the dinner reservation I had made for 8 people, my phone exploded with missed calls. 43 calls from Alex, all within the past hour. My heart rate doubled. That many missed calls could only mean an emergency. Had something happened to one of the kids? Had there been an accident at the campsite? I called Alex back immediately. He answered on the first ring, his voice high with panic. "Tara, thank God. I've been trying to reach you for over an hour. It's Madison. She fell off the jet ski and hit her head on a rock. We're at Mountain View Hospital." Terror shot through me. "Is she conscious? How bad is it?" "She's awake now, but she was out for almost a minute. The doctor wants to do a CT scan to check for concussion. She keeps asking for you." I was already running toward my car. "I'm coming right now. Is she in pain?" They gave her something, but she's scared and confused. She keeps crying for mommy. The drive to Mountain View Hospital took 2 hours of white-knuckle anxiety. I still wore my graduation dress, my hair and makeup perfect for a celebration that never happened. The cap and gown lay crumpled in my passenger seat, forgotten in the panic. I found them in emergency room bay 12. Madison lay on the bed with a bandage on her forehead, looking small and frightened. Around her stood Alex, Tyler, Jake, my parents, Cameron, and his family. The same group who couldn't attend my graduation but had somehow all assembled at the hospital. "Mommy," Madison called out when she saw me. "You came." I rushed to her side, maternal instinct overriding everything else. "Of course I came, baby. How are you feeling?" As I smoothed her hair and checked her pupils, the doctor approached to update me on her condition. "She has a mild concussion but should recover completely with rest. We'll keep her for observation tonight." While I focused on Madison's medical needs, I couldn't ignore the bitter irony surrounding me. My entire family had gathered here within hours of her accident, but couldn't spare a single afternoon for my graduation ceremony. After the doctor confirmed Madison was stable, the suffocating presence of my family became unbearable. They stood around chatting casually, as if this were a normal family gathering rather than the aftermath of their collective betrayal. "Thank God you got here quickly," Mom said, patting my arm. "Madison was asking for you non-stop." Something inside me snapped. "Funny how quickly everyone can assemble when it's an emergency," I said, my voice dangerously quiet. But a graduation ceremony celebrating 6 years of military service? Too much trouble. An uncomfortable silence fell over the small space. Alex shot me a warning look, silently pleading for me to not do this here, not now. But 6 years of suppressed hurt had reached its breaking point. I stood completely alone on that stage today while my entire family played at the lake. Not one congratulations text, not one phone call, not even a thought about what today meant to me. "Honey, we didn't realize it was so important to you," Mom began weakly. "It's just a ceremony," Cameron added dismissively. "What matters is that Madison's okay." "Just a ceremony?" I repeated, my voice rising. "I served my country for 6 years. I miss birthdays, holidays, and bedtime stories to protect your freedom. I earned a college degree while deployed in Afghanistan, studying in a tent after 12-hour shifts in combat zones." The room fell silent except for the beeping of Madison's monitors. "And when I finally had one day, just one single day to celebrate that achievement, you all chose jet skiing and marshmallows instead. You taught my children that supporting their mother matters less than having fun." Dad tried to intervene. "Tara, this isn't the time or place dash. When would be a better time, Dad? When you're back to ignoring me until the next family emergency. When Madison asks why Mommy wasn't important enough for you to attend her graduation." Alex stepped forward, placing a hand on my arm. "Tara, you're upset and you have every right to be. But Madison needs calm right now." I looked at my daughter, who was watching with wide, anxious eyes. He was right. This wasn't her fault. "You're absolutely right," I said, taking a deep breath. "Madison needs stability right now. But I need space from all of you." I turned my full attention to Madison, explaining what the doctors had told me and reassuring her about her recovery. I helped her get comfortable and promised to stay with her overnight. "I'll take the first shift," I announced to the room. "The rest of you can go back to your camping trip." "We're not leaving while Madison's in the hospital," Mom protested. "Why not?" I asked coldly. "You left while your daughter was graduating from military service. A broken family tradition seems appropriate." Alex looked stricken. "Tara, please. We made a mistake, but we're here now. You're here because you have to be. You attended my graduation because you wanted to be. There's a difference." I walked to the hospital cafeteria and found a quiet corner to call my supervisor, requesting emergency family leave. Then I made another call, to a hotel downtown. Madison's CT scan came back clear, and she was released the next morning with instructions for rest and monitoring. I drove her home myself while Alex followed in his car with Tyler and Jake. At home, I helped Madison get settled on the couch with her favorite blankets and TV shows. The camping gear was scattered across our garage, evidence of the trip that had been more important than my achievement. "I'm going to stay at the Embassy Suites downtown for a week," I announced to Alex. "I need time to think about what happened and what it means for our marriage." "Tara, be reasonable. Madison has a concussion. She needs her mother. Madison has a father who made decisions about what was important without consulting me. She'll be fine with you for a few days." I packed a small suitcase while Alex hovered nervously. "When will you come back?" "When I've figured out whether this marriage can survive you choosing a camping trip over supporting my military service." The kids watched sadly as I prepared to leave, finally understanding that their choices had consequences beyond missing a boring ceremony. Over the next week, I received a flood of apologetic calls and texts. My parents left tearful voicemails admitting they had been thoughtless. Cameron sent an expensive flower arrangement with a card acknowledging his selfishness. Alex called every evening, his tone increasingly desperate as he realized I was serious about this separation. "I've been thinking about what you said," he began one night. "About how we've taken you for granted. About how your military service deserved better recognition." "It's not just about recognition, Alex. It's about respect. It's about valuing my sacrifices enough to show up when it matters." "You're right. I was wrong. The kids were wrong. We all let you down when you needed us most." I spent the week reflecting on 6 years of putting everyone else's needs before my own, of accepting their complaints about my absence while they enjoyed the benefits of my service. I thought about what I wanted from the next phase of my life, and what boundaries I needed to establish. When I returned home, I found Alex waiting with a family meeting plan. He had spent the week researching military family dynamics and the unique challenges we faced. "I want to make changes," he said. "Real changes. Starting with a proper celebration of your graduation." 2 weeks later, Alex organized a surprise party specifically honoring my military service and degree. He invited my fellow service members, my commanding officer, and friends who understood the significance of my achievement. My parents flew in from Oklahoma, bringing a framed certificate of appreciation they had commissioned. Cameron gave a speech acknowledging my courage and intelligence. But the most meaningful moment came when Madison, still wearing her bandage, stood up to toast me. "To my mom, who protects our whole country and still takes care of us. I'm sorry we missed your graduation. You're the bravest person I know." As I looked around the room filled with genuine respect and celebration, I realized that sometimes the greatest victory isn't the diploma itself, but learning to demand the recognition you deserve. My military service had taught me to fight for what matters. Now I was fighting for myself. If this story moved you, don't forget to like the video, subscribe for more powerful narratives, and share your thoughts in the comments. We'd love to hear what part hit you the hardest. Thanks for watching.